being shy, right? We think, if I don't have symptoms, I'm healthy, right? Okay? Okay, I'm going to test that new word, and this is going to make a lot of sense to you. We're going to talk about performance. How well we perform at everything we do, okay? And Mila just talked about all these good foods we should be putting into our stomachs, right? But what if our stomach and our digestive system aren't working well? Are we going to be able to utilize that food? We might not have a symptom, okay? But our bodies might not be performing well, okay? All right, you might not be having any pain, but you might not be performing at the best that you can. A little thinking a little bit, okay? So let's start thinking about the body and how the body works. Now, in the body, all of our performance is controlled by chemicals. Name off some chemicals in the body, you guys. Potassium. Mm-hmm.
Serotonin.
Insulin. Serotonin, okay. Yeah. Pepsin, HCl, we have all the hormones, right? Okay, now, all right, you guys are great. What produces all these chemicals in the body? There's big things and then there's little things.
Glands.
Yeah. And organs. So what I like to just call them as O's and G's. So we have organs in the glands in the body that are producing all the chemicals that are responsible for all the performance of our body. Our digestion, our immune system, okay, our metabolism is all controlled by the organs and the glands. Now, what controls the organs and the glands, guys?
Brain.
Right. The nervous system. Okay? That's where I come in. Because I control the nervous system, okay? The nervous system is telling the body what to do, when to do, and how to do it, okay? Has everybody had some breakfast today?
Yes.
And they're going to go work out? Okay, so who had breakfast? Okay, so all right, so we're about 50-50 maybe. Okay, so what did you have for breakfast?
Some cereal with banana and milk.
Okay, so we have some cereal in there, okay. And did someone else have something really different than what she had?
Yogurt.
And you had yogurt, okay. So we have very different ones right here. So right now, cereal is sitting in your belly. And so communication is coming from your stomach up the spinal cord into the brain, and the brain says cereal. So the right information from the brain is getting sent back down and the spinal cord out the appropriate nerve to the stomach, so there's the right amount of acids are being produced to digest that cereal opposed to your yogurt. Completely different foods, right? Now, what if there was a miss-up and it got yogurt information and you got cereal information? What's going to happen with your breakfast? It's not going to digest well, is it? Yeah, okay. And that's a problem. And then if it doesn't start digesting well, okay, then that can just lead to everything getting impacted and bloating and all those things that Mila was talking about, okay, which is going to result in weight gain, okay.
What's something that would cause the mix-up in the brain too?
I'm so glad you asked. Well, we have here is a wonderful system, okay? The brain is the most important part of our body, and it's protected well by the skull, okay? The second most important part is the spinal cord. The spinal cord runs right off of the brain, comes down in between each one of these little vertebrae, okay? And parts of it branch off as these little spinal nerve routes. They come out right in between the nerves, and between the bones, okay? And this is perfect harmony, and this is what protects that system, okay? But things don't always go the way they're supposed to, do they? And sometimes these little tiny bones get knocked out of alignment, and now they put interference on those nerves. Okay, pressure, pinching on them. Sometimes they can give us a back pain, and sometimes it can cause stomach problems. Sometimes it can cause allergy symptoms. Sometimes it can suppress our immune system. Okay, and that's where the problem lies. Now, what do you guys think causes these little vertebrae to get knocked out of alignment?
Working out.
No. That helps.
Well, when you're walking with a really heavy bag, for example.
Yeah, and usually on one shoulder, right?
Yeah.
And then what happens is we,
Yeah,
Right?
You get out of balance.
yeah, we get out of balance. What else? Did anyone sit at a desk all day? Okay. Do we sit up perfectly straight at our desk? No, we would. Poof, right? Yeah, I'm sure this guy over here is on you guys all the time about posture, 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 right? Yeah, because when you sit like this all day, I always love to show. That's why I always take my spine with me. Okay, so this is the way we should look from the side view. But when we don't hold in our midsection and we let ourselves get floppy at our desk, we just take out the whole curve of the lower spine, and then we get a look at that computer screens, and then we're doing this little turtle thing kind of with our head. So what do you think if you stayed like that for 8 hours a day, 5 days a week? Yeah, there's 40 hours of stress right there. And then if we carry the heavy bags, right? And then how many of us cross our legs? And then we're twisting.
And high heels also.
And wear high heels. All right, because we're pushing our pelvis forward. Okay. All right. Anything else we're gonna? All right. How do we sleep at night? No. Do you sleep on your stomach?
I'm a side sleeper.
Okay. How many pillows under the head?
2.
Okay. So he was on the right track until he said 2 pillows, because side sleeping is very good, side or your back, but then he had 2 pillows under his head. Okay. Only one. Only one. You want to keep everything straight. Okay? Or if you're on your back, that's fine. And sometimes a pillow underneath your knees while you're laying on your back helps keep your back nice and flat. Only one pillow will go under the head. Okay?
What about the snow pillow?
Well, no.
That's not
No,
good.
it's doing just the opposite of the 2 pillows. Your head is really heavy. Ladies' heads are about 8 to 10 pounds. A man's head is about 12 to 14 pounds on the average, and our necks are pretty thin. Okay? So it's a lot of weight. So we want to make sure that there's support so that these muscles can rest at.
What about if you have just around your neck or something?
You want to have something that would be nice. There's pillows designed that have that little curve in there.
Yeah.
Okay? And that will help support that neck. That's the best. Okay? Any other?
When you curl up and you sleep like a baby
On your side?
on your side,
Mhm.
it's curled up.
Not too curled up though, right? Just a little bit?
I believe I do. I wake up sometimes like a
In a little ball? Well, perhaps uncurl yourself just a little bit, but on your side with your knees slightly bent, and then chew a pillow in between the legs. And it helps keep our pelvis stationary. Do we have any mothers here in the group? Okay. When you were pregnant, you put a pillow in between? Yeah. It's very common with pregnant women to do that, but we all should be doing it because it helps keep our pelvis more stationary. Okay? Yeah. And no arm under the head. Sorry. It always comes out. Somewhere along the line, they're just like, uh-oh, you got busted, didn't you? Okay. No more arm under the head.
So how about if you sleep on your stomach?
Yeah.
Oh, I always love to show this one. Okay, so you're laying on all your total organs. Okay, so at night is when they're trying to detox and cleanse. Right? So now it's making it harder because you have all this pressure on them. So you take out the curves. Now you have to breathe, right? So we have to turn our head. There we go. That's some good stress right there. Yeah. And then we wake up and we're like, yeah.
So, that's all fine and dandy if you fell asleep the way you say, but like during sleep, we have very little
During night,
control
you
of
move
what
around.
we're doing. So what are the best ways to fix that? Because we've been sleeping like this all our lives. So-
Right, exactly. And trust me, I'm a reformed stomach sleeper. Okay, and what I found what helped me and what I recommend a lot to my patients is a body pillow or just another little pillow, and I hold it. And then on my side, and I hold the pillow, and then if I go to roll, now I've got my arms here, it kind of stops you enough that you realize what you're doing. It's retraining yourself, honey. Yeah, it's just trying to do little things like that. The pillow technique is worked really well. But the more that you do it and you start training yourself, I remember when I first started sleeping on the back, I'm like, this is miserable, I'm so uncomfortable. But I'm actually very, very comfortable. I can sleep a good amount of the night on my back. Yeah, if I even roll onto my stomach, just thinking, oh, let me just test the stomach thing again. Oh, it's horrible. Yeah, it's horrible. So you can get trained out, but try the pillow technique.
Well, maybe-
think it really-
Yeah, I have to agree, 'cause I used to be a stomach sleeper too.
I'm actually a side sleeper, but sometimes I wake up in all kinds of.
And you're on the stomach or something. So try holding the pillow. And I think that will help. Yeah, that helped you with breaking your habit. Yeah.
Or you might want to tie yourself to the bed and that'll solve the problem.
It always opens up some other interesting things. It's a Sunday morning. Okay. But you can try those techniques and see if they work for you. Okay. Any other, have we thought of every other physical thing that we do? I think those were the biggest things, right? Is the computer, the sleeping, yeah. But we always just want to make sure we're holding it right here. Yeah, you're going to talk about yoga, is that right? And so we know how important it is to make sure that we keep our core held in. You keep this held in, it lifts up the chest. The rest of it comes naturally. So when we're sitting or when we're standing. And guess what, you guys? It's going to be weird and awkward because you're used to letting this go and then kind of just letting the chest fall. Okay, so it's just all about retraining yourself. And it's not going to go away overnight. You just have to keep doing it over and over and over again and trying not to cross your legs at the knees and just crossing them at the ankle. And I know. I know. Sorry, but it's what happens. And that's just the physical things. What other things do you think can cause these little vertebrae to get knocked out of alignment?
Stress.
Yes. No one gets that one. No, that's not the hardest one, but stress. So what happens if we're having a really tough day at work?
To tense up.
Tense up, right? So all these muscles are pulled up, right? And all of a sudden your shoulders are right underneath your ears. And that can just pull these little bones, especially when you're not sitting right. And it keeps pulling them more and more. Okay? So that's another cause. What's the third cause? You look kind of on this one. Bad nutrition. Chemical stress. Yeah. Because if you're not feeding yourself properly, your body doesn't have the energy. Yeah. It's weak. It's damaged. Yeah. And it'll show up in the strength. It'll show up here, you guys. You guys are investing a lot of time and everything to come here and to reach your goals. So that nutrition is really important. We really are what we eat. Okay. All right. So let me finish what we're going here. So what happens is these little tiny vertebrae, they come out of alignment and they put pressure and irritation on those nerves. And now things aren't working so well. Now the nervous system can't talk to the organs and the glands, the right amount of chemicals aren't being produced, and then we have really poor performance. Okay? And we may not realize it until a disease process sets in. Okay? Okay? And what I do as a chiropractor is I check people all the time. And I'm like, well, let me check your spine. I just randomly walk up to people on the street and say, can I check your spine? I think it's perfectly natural. My mentor in chiropractic, and this man was one of a kind. He's going to be sorely missed. He passed away this last year, but he would carry his spine everywhere. And I'm like, seriously? He says, you should carry your spine everywhere. I'm like, really? Come on. I want to be like, she deserves the little special bus over there. But anyway, what I do is I check people's spine. I see how they're standing. I check their posture. And if they're standing all crooked, I feel the little vertebrae, and I feel like a vertebrae isn't lined up properly. I'm like, you know what, you guys, that's a problem. That's a problem. And I can help you with that. Okay? Chiropractic treatments are designed to correct those little areas where the vertebrae is out of alignment and get it back where it's supposed to be. Because when we get that irritation off the nerve, what's going to happen to the communication between the nervous system and the organs and the glands? Oh, it improves. That's just what you guys were thinking. And then what's going to happen to the amount of chemicals that are produced?
It'll improve.
Yes, and then what's gonna happen to our performance?
Improve.
Improve.